So let's look at the insertion sort first. Let's pull that so you can see it. Insertion sort. You have to bear with me. The camera is a little close in and I don't have much room. So the list we were going to look at was 4, 1, 3, 2. Now what they're looking for in the exam is the steps that you take to reach the final result. And that's not easy. You're going to have to show a lot of things. So let's go through what an insertion sort does. So there's my starting number. So I'm going to reproduce them over here, 4, 1, 3, 2, and I'm going to put a dot on top of the second item in the list. We're always going to start off at the second item in the list. And what we do is we compare the first item, which is 4, with the second item in the list, which is 1. And if the second item is lower, because we're ordering from low to high, then we insert it in its correct position. So the 1 would need to be inserted before the 4. So I'm going to use a different coloured pen to show this. So 1, 4, and the rest of the list afterwards just stays the same. And I'm going to put a little underline underneath the 1 to show that that was the value that I moved. I'm also going to draw a line to say that was my first effort. Then I'm going to write down my 1, 4, 3, 2 almost as a new list, and this time the dot goes on top of the 3 because I've moved on 1. So now I compare the 3 and the 4. The 3 is lower than the 4, so that needs to be inserted in the correct position. So again, if I use a different colour, the 1 stays the same, the 3 gets inserted before the 4, then I've got my 4 and finally my 2, and I can underline my 3 to say that was the item that I moved. Now this is not always necessary. I'm just making it very clear to the examiner what I have done at each step. So then I'm going to write down my number again, 1, 3, 4, 2. This is the red number that I've chosen, and I'm now putting the dot on top of the 2. Now that is the last item in my list. So once I finish this, the entire list has been processed and sorted into order. So I take a look at it, the 2 is less than the 4, so I need to insert the 2 in the correct position. And the 2 goes between the 1 and 3, if you're good with your numbers. So I can rewrite that, 1, 2, 3, and 4, showing that it was the 2 that I moved. Okay, and that's it. The list is now sorted, so I can write it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each time I go along the list, I always choose the next element along. So if I've got 10 items, I would just keep putting dots on the next one, and that is showing which index I'm looking at, and that underline there is showing where I've moved my item to. So that's the insertion sort, and that has sorted the list 4, 1, 3, 2 into 1, 2, 3, 4.